In fact, they're racing at Druin in the 1986 Picnic Cup, and they're coming into view now. And one of the best out was Sir Santa early here at Druin from moving up on the outside Parkmore. They're followed by Trapped a little wide early was Venia. Back in behind them, Elliston hugging the rails. Further back then came Arlington Road. And last of all is Gentle Tina. They go past the judge with one to go, and it's Sir Santa striding clear in the cup by 3 lengths. Over Parkmore in second placing. Venia off the track. They're followed by back in behind them then came Arlington Road. Further back was Elliston, and last of all is Gentle Tina as they go behind the trees, and the leader still is Sir Santa as they go to the 1200 metre mark by 3 lengths over Parkmore in second placing. Then came further back in the field there as they go down the back was Arlington Road moving up the outside, followed by back behind them then came Elliston. They're followed by further afield there. Back along the outside came Gentle Tina, who's back amongst the tail enders. Now it's still Sir Santa in front as they work down the back of the track at about the 800 metre mark. He's still 5 or 6 clear. Over in second placing Parkmore, followed by moving through in the centre now Venia. Back along the inside came Arlington Road, then came Elliston further back, and Gentle Tina back amongst the tail enders still. But down the side of the track at about the 600 metre mark, and this one's making every post a winner, Sir Santa. It strides clear by 5 or 6 lengths. In second placing, running on now, came Arlington Road. They're followed by Gentle Tina, who's got going, followed by Parkmore, and back in behind them then Elliston hooked wide, but on the turn Sir Santa in front. Out after it Arlington Road, followed by further back then came Gentle Tina, but halfway up the straight at the 200 metre mark Sir Santa's still in front, trying hard in second placing Arlington Road. From further back then came Gentle Tina, but Sir Santa's pinched the prize, and Sir Santa wins the Druin Picnic Cup by 3 lengths. Second Arlington Road, third went to Gentle Tina, back behind them came Elliston. They're followed by Parkmore and Venia last in. Stand by for placings on the Picnic Cup. Slow to begin there, Harbour Zan on the inside, and Sir Rockford and Patlin showing pace early. Wider out on the track then coming across in the early stages was Chilton, and getting through the pack as well is Society Lord. So it's Society Lord leading from Chilton. Then came It's Impossible, further back then Sir Nolte, then came Patlin, back along the inside Summer Stray. Then followed by Harbour Zan, then going around the outside is Sir Nolte, followed by Kai, then back in behind them came Sir Rockford, Chilton, and last of all is My Barty Bill. Up the hill they go, and Society Lord shows the way. In second placing then came Summer Stray on the inside, then came further back around the outside of the field goes Chilton up in a forward position, followed by It's Impossible. Then came further back in the field was Sir Nolte, Harbour Zan, followed by Patlin back behind them. Then came Elliston, further back then along the inside came Sir Rockford as they go down the back straight. Then came Kai, and last of all as they go down the back there was My Barty Bill. At the 1000 metre mark it's still Society Lord in front. On the outside It's Impossible. Then came further back along the inside there, battling away well is Chilton, followed by further back then in the field around the outside Harbour Zan. Back behind them too as they go down the side of the track there was Sir Nolte out wide on the track. Then came further back was Summer Stray, followed by Elliston. A gap back in the field then came Patlin, who's well out of it. Then came Sir Rockford, Kai, and last of all is My Barty Bill. Down the side they stride, and moving up on the outside quickly now It's Impossible of Society Lord. Then came further back Chilton, and further afield then came Harbour Zan as they round the home turn, followed by Elliston and Summer Stray. It's Impossible moving up on the outside of Society Lord on the turn. Then came further back, hooked out is Chilton down the outside, hitting the lead now in the straight. It's Impossible. It's got to the lead, battling back Society Lord, and joining in on the outside is Chilton, and right down the outside Summer Stray and Elliston. It's Impossible in front, trying very hard there up along the inside with Society Lord, but It's Impossible's beaten Society Lord or Chilton in the centre. Out louder then came Elliston. Back in behind them Summer Stray, followed by further back then came Patlin. Back in behind them to pull up there Sir Rockford, followed by My Barty Bill. Dropping out of it was Sir Nolte and Kai last of all. A little bit slowly out there was Glendon, and showing good pace early was Nearly Famous to lead from up on the outside Vassador. Then further back in the field along the inside came State Sun at about the 1000 metre mark. Around the outside there goes Grey Tail, followed by further back in the field then Glendon on the outside of Rose Commando. Then in behind them came Awapuni, and Tempera drops to the rear. They go down the back at about the 1000 or just less now, and the leader is Nearly Famous by a neck only. Over on the outside Vassador
Vassador second, then came State Sun. Further back in the field then between runners was Rose Commando, wider out Grey Tail. Then further back in the field was Glendon as they start to climb the hill. Then in behind them came Awapuni and Still Temper last of all. They're at about the 700 metre mark now, and Still Nearly Famous defies them. It's Nearly Famous by 2 lengths over Vassador. Then in behind them came State Sun. Further back Glendon improving on the outside, followed by Rose Commando, Grey Tail. Then around the outside goes Temper, and last of all is Awapuni now. They come up the hill at about the 350 metre mark, and the leader still is Nearly Famous. It's still about 3 lengths in front. In second placing, battling away well, is Vassador. Then came around the outside, coming into it too was Temper wide out on the track, and further back then was Glendon straightening up, and it's still Nearly Famous in front. It's kicked away 2 lengths in front of Temper, coming home well. Then came further back in the field, battling back on the inside was State Sun, and further back then was Glendon. It's Nearly Famous in front, Temper on the outside, followed by State Sun and Vassador down the straight. But Nearly Famous, a nice ride by Enslaven. Nearly Famous scores by 4 lengths on the line. Temper got second. Third in there up along the inside went to State Sun from Vassador. Then in behind them came Rose Commando, followed by further back then was Glendon, and further back too was Awapuni, and last in Grey Tail. Stand by for our numbers. Just there, it settles, they're ready, they're racing, the gates crash back and off they go in the last. Mighty Wall Lieutenant's Order came out okay, along with pushing through in the early stages too was Ruling Hun. Mighty Wall will take over as they work out of the straight at the 1700 metre mark. In second placing Lieutenant's Order, then came around the outside Kai, followed by back in behind and then Ruling Hun. Further back then came Patlin the outside, and the Jostlers back last of all. Heading down to the 1300 metre mark, and it's Mighty Wall striding along in front by a length and a half over Lieutenant's Order second. Similar margin away third, then came Kai. Patlin off around the outside. Further back then, dropping back along the rails there was Ruling Hun and the Jostler the outside. They go down the back at about the 1100 metre mark, and the leader is Mighty Wall still by a length and a half. Lieutenant's Order second, then Patlin on the outside. Further back then came Kai on the inside, followed by the Jostler, and now last of all is Ruling Hun. They're about to start to climb the hill there, and it's Mighty Wall still by a length and a half over Patlin, continuing that run around the outside. Then Lieutenant's Order nicely parked on the rails behind the leader. Then came further back was Kai, followed by further back too came the Jostler and Ruling Hun at the rear. They're starting that climb up the hill, and it's Mighty Wall now by a length on Patlin the outside. Then came Lieutenant's Order, followed by Kai, the Jostler and Ruling Hun. Up the hill they climb at about the 600 or a bit less now, and Mighty Wall still the leader. Patlin still continuing to make ground the outside. Further back then Lieutenant's Order, who's been going nicely. Then in behind them on the outside came Kai, and further back too, hooked out around them was the Jostler. They come to the home turn, and Patlin moving out quickly the outside of Mighty Wall. Patlin's now gone to the lead on the turn from Mighty Wall. Then came the Jostler making ground out wider, and further back in the field then, battling back too was Ruling Hun. In the shadows of the post, it's on the outside there. Patlin getting to the lead, battling back now Mighty Wall, and Lieutenant's Order now hooked out. It's Mighty Wall who's kicked back on the inside. Patlin dying on its run, and Mighty Wall's won the last. Second placing went to Patlin. Lieutenant's Order would have got third out wide, followed by the Jostler. Then in behind them came Ruling Hun, and Kai is last.